those of you who are new, my name is Nshaba, and this is the channel where we get up close and personal with me, talking all things healing, all things forgiveness, all things personal development, and all things sensitive, and all things that people don't want to talk about. And for you guys who are my returning supporters, my returning viewers, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate your support, you guys. Thank you so much. Before I waste any more of my time and yours, let's get right into this video. Hi guys, so today I want to talk about 3 things which I deem to be useless, 3 incidences or happenings or whatever you might want to call them that affected my confidence negatively, that paved way to how most of my life growing up was lived, right? I want to talk about them because it's painful when I think about them. And it's also funny in a way that this is the world that we are living in. This is how things happen in this world that we are living in. And it's very bad if you're going to be like me and you do not know how to defend yourself against such things, and you don't know how to navigate them in a way that they won't affect you negatively, you know? Because at that point, I honestly didn't know that they were going to affect me negatively, but they did, because I already had a bruised ego, you know. Those of you who know my abuse history, those of you who know about my issues that resulted from the abuse and everything, this video will make so much sense to you. And if you haven't watched the abuse video, please do, so that you can get to understand what I'm talking about on this video. So growing up, you guys, I already had a very low self-esteem and low self-worth. I had issues with my self-worth, I had issues with my self-esteem, and these three happenings just happened to unfortunately be fuel. Like they added they just made the issues worse, and in a way that it was not necessary for them to, but they did because of how I already was, right? So I'm gonna let you guys into these issues because we haven't gotten very personal in the previous videos, and because I haven't been posting so much, so this is the one video that we get to sit down and have this sensitive talk. And I'm very glad to be talking about it because I'm okay, but I feel very sad in the sense that if my child was to grow up and have their lives paved because of such things, that would be very painful to me. That it would be very painful. Like how I grew up, I wouldn't want any child growing up that very same way, you know. So this one incident, I'm gonna talk about it as the first one. I don't remember how they happened, like in terms of timeline, but so I'm just gonna use this one as the first one. It happened when I was in grade 9, and guys, like I wonder, I don't know if you will relate, but I hope you do relate, so that you can get the deepness of how this issue was to me. I mean, if you haven't experienced it, chances are it won't be as sensitive and as deep as it was back then and to me. But if you have, I hope you do. I hope you do relate. I hope you do see how important it was to me at that time, right? So I remember I was in grade 9 and I was in class, and a conversation was being had on the desk next to mine, and I just happened to hear what they were talking about. I was not even part of the conversation, but I could hear everything that they were saying, and because of curiosity, I actually focused, I actually gave attention to whatever that they were saying so that I could hear how it ends, you know. So what was going on in that conversation is that a group of girls decided they were gonna talk about people in class who had an L-shaped face. I didn't even know there was such a thing. Like, they were basically saying that there are people whose faces are like this, so that will mean it comes straight like this, and then when it gets here it goes out, you know. So, and that was being spoken about not as a good thing. It was not a good thing. It actually represented that you were ugly. It actually meant that you were ugly because your face was deformed in a way, was in a way that it was not supposed to be, and what was not acceptable, you know. And they were talking and they were listing those people in class, and unfortunately your girl made it to the list. I made it into that list. Apparently, I have an L-shaped face, and that was not a good thing. That is not a good thing. And guys, that really hit me hard. Like, it really hit me hard at that time, because already I had issues with myself. I had issues with how I looked. I had issues with why was I abused. Is because of how I look? Is it because of, you know, I already had image issues. I already had self-worth issues. So that came at exactly like the right time to make the situation worse, if I can put it like that. And guys, I believed them. Unfortunately, I believed them, and I felt very bad about myself. I felt worse. I'm like, so really I am ugly? Like, oh wow, I really, I didn't think it was that bad. But if people my age are gonna be picking up on it, people my age are gonna be seeing it, then that means it's really bad. Like, I'm really ugly. Oh wow. Like guys, I don't laugh because it's funny. I laugh because I cannot believe that I had to go through that. I can't believe that I believe that about myself. Like, when I look at myself now, like, look at me. Like, there is nothing ugly about me. I'm pretty. Like, I'm beautiful. So I don't understand why I had to go through that back then, and it had to affect me so much and so deeply, and it had to become a part of me for such a long time until we got to this point where I can actually see how beautiful I am, you know. So that happened, and guys, unfortunately it affected me very bad. It was very bad. It was very bad. That's why I even remember it to this day. That is because of how bad it was, how a part of me it became when it was not even supposed to. I don't even know why people go around having such conversations, you know. I mean, I cannot blame them, obviously. I have only myself to blame. Why did I believe it? Why did I embody it? Why did it become a part of me? Why did it affect me and stuff? But I also don't understand why you would sit down and decide to name the most ugliest people in your class. Why you would wanna count how many, what is even ugly? Like, what is ugly at this point? Who is ugly? What is ugly? You know what I'm saying? So that really affected me very badly, but I'm glad I'm here now. It doesn't really matter. It like it's nothing. It's zero. It doesn't matter. So I'm gonna go on to the next issue, which also was a conversation. That conversation I believe I was supposed to be a part of, but because of how uncomfortable it made me, I didn't participate in it. I just listened in, and unfortunately I also left that conversation with whatever that was said there, and it became a part of me. Unfortunately, guys, it was unfortunate because the impacts were not nice. The impacts were not favorable, you know. So this particular conversation, old people were involved, and like I really don't know how that mattered, you know. Like, at this point in my life where I'm able to tell wrong from right, I don't know, I don't understand how that mattered, but it did at that point. So the conversation that was being had there was a comparison between vaginas in terms of which shape is beautiful and which shape is ugly, you know. And I was curious, like, why are you guys even having this conversation? Like, what's going on? What is the significance of this conversation? What are we intending to get out of these conversations? You know, I was still a child even back then, but there were old people, and I believe that is why this conversation was being had, because they had seen a lot. They had seen each other naked and everything, and they were talking about this stuff, and they were like, okay, so apparently a nice one, a beautiful one, which I had never seen at that point, is one that is supposed to have meat. I don't know if you guys understand, but I hope you do. I hope you do, because I have this picture in my head where apparently a beautiful one, you guys, it's supposed to be fat. It's supposed to, you know, that stuff that is in between a vagina. Apparently the beautiful one is supposed to be the one that I don't want to call them by names because I do not know much of YouTube's guidelines. I wouldn't want my video deleted because I've spoken sensitive stuff, right? But so I'm just gonna use the simplest English that will get me to make the point that I'm trying to make. So apparently a beautiful one is supposed to be fat, and the things in between, the things in the middle of a vagina, are not supposed to be outside. So what they basically were saying is that the outer part should cover everything in the middle. So what is in the middle shouldn't be visible, and that is why it's beautiful. That is what a beautiful vagina is supposed to be. And an ugly one is when the things in the middle are actually hi guys, no. So the ugly one, the one that those people didn't want to have, is the one where the things in the middle are actually outside. Like you can literally see anything and everything inside, you know? So do you understand what I'm saying? Do you guys get it? Yeah, so apparently beautiful is everything should be covered inside, and there must be meat. And then ugly, everything is out there, everything is hanging, everything is just like this. And guess which one your girl is? I know this is sensitive, you guys, but I want to talk about these things because it's body shaming. It's body shaming. As much as they didn't, like, they have seen people, they have seen these two vaginas. That's why they were saying it. That's why they had to make a comparison. They had seen it. So it is, I feel like it's body shaming that they are going to be saying this one is ugly. As much as they were not saying anyone's name, to those people that they knew, those people that they have seen already, these people have this one and these people have this one. So the ones who had the ugly one, obviously they shouldn't be feeling good about themselves because it's ugly, you know? And that issue, you guys, I remember Lokoni Komba, right? For those of you who don't know what Kukomba is, it's those traditional practices that a girl has to go away, like not go away, not necessarily to go away, but to be inside. It's actually a cultural practice that is done to show that a girl has grown up. You're a woman now. I believe previously these things were being done to prepare ladies for marriage. Obviously now it's a different thing altogether. It's to show you are older now, you are a big girl, and you have responsibility. So you go away, you hide, they teach you things, and then you come out when you're done, and then people come and bring gifts and to celebrate the woman that you've become. So I went through that process, and guys, it was not the most comfortable processes I've ever been to, because you stay naked, and I was not comfortable with the fact that people are seeing me, people are seeing my ugly people are seeing me and my ugly thing, you know. It really was not comfortable. It was so bad, and I feel like I didn't enjoy that whole process simply because of that. Like, it's ugly and it shouldn't be seen. It's I'm talking about this. I know how sensitive this thing is, but I'm talking about it because this is where we get up close and personal. I'm a married woman, and I wouldn't want my child my children to be growing up and be growing into things like this, into things where they're being body shamed indirectly, you know, into things that shouldn't matter, and people are making them matter, you know. So I didn't mean to make this video very long, but unfortunately it's going to be long because now there's the last one that I have to talk about, which was not really said by people, but it's something that I grew up into, and I know people are growing up into, because it's still happening even now. Like, you have to fight to actually feel better about yourself. You have to fight to to find beauty in what you are, because beauty is not is different from what you are. What beauty is being said to be is not what you are. So it's still happening now, and I'm making this video so that my children, when they've grown up, they look back, they watch this video, your children, your nieces, you know, they watch this video and they realize these are things that are not supposed to matter, and someone is making them matter, but they're not supposed to, because we are all beautiful in our own ways, and I don't believe God makes a mistake, you know. So this third one is about bums, you guys. It's about bums. Like, I grew up, I remember I never even used to pay attention, but it got to a point where I realized that your girl has a small bum, you know, your girl doesn't have a big behind, and it became an issue, because at that point when I realized it was because the big bums were being made a big deal, the big bums were being made a definition of beauty. So this really broke me in a way when I realized that so I'm actually not what beauty is. And if you wanna like put all these things together, you will realize how heavy these issues are on a person who already is very low on confidence, is very low on self-esteem, you know. Like, group them together and just think to yourself, if you believed all these things about yourself, where would you be now? What would you be? What kind of a person would you be? Who was Nshabo at that point where she was believing all these things about herself, that she has an L-shaped face, she has an ugly vagina, and now she has a small behind, which she's not supposed to. She's actually supposed to have a big bum for her to feel beautiful about herself, for people to actually appreciate her beauty, you know. So this is one thing that I grew into, because I grew up into, like, it's something that I grew up seeing, that, like, to a point when so this is how life is supposed to be. Like, oh, okay. So I remember, like, this is happening, this is still happening even now. Like, when you're walking in as a group, and the one girl with the big bum is the one who gets asked out mostly. And you know how when you are friends, you are always together and you always meet different guys, but somehow the guys are always interested in one person, and which that one person is the one who has a big bum. Do you know, like, you know those things? I believe you guys know them, because they're still happening even today, and girls are still going through them, you know. And I feel like it's very painful that even the generation after us has to live through this thing where they feel like their bodies are not beautiful because they don't have big bums, where they feel like they're not worth it because they don't have the body that is required for whatever it is that they're supposed to get, you know. I don't feel like it's fair. It makes me very angry. It makes me very sad that a girl out there is actually feeling bad about themselves because they don't have a big bum, because they don't have a big chest, or they have a very big chest when they're supposed to have a certain size of a chest. It makes me very, very angry that I had to grow up in that. I had to grow like that, and I had to have my confidence affected because of something that I had no control over. You guys, it makes me very angry. I'm sorry if I'm catching feelings, but, like, really, guys, really we have to do this to ourselves, really. So in a nutshell, those are all the useless things that affected my confidence, that made my life very bad in different ways, that were very useless. Like, they were useless to have affected my life. It was not worth it for them to have build my life in the way that they did. It makes me very angry that I had to grow up in that I had to, you know. So what I've taken from all this is that it really doesn't matter what these things are. I mean, we don't choose to be born the way we are. We do not have a choice in terms of what you look like, how you look like. I mean, if we did, I believe everyone in this world would, you know, there should be a common thing that we all have, because apparently that is how you are supposed to be. We do not have a choice, and it really shouldn't matter what a person looks like. It shouldn't at all. And a girl or a boy, whoever, shouldn't feel bad for something that they had no control over. I do not feel like that should be the case, you know. So that is the first thing that I took from this. The second thing is that I've actually learned that people who body shame other people are people who have issues of their own. So that is actually something that they're doing to make themselves feel better. And that is why these things shouldn't matter, because the people who are saying it actually have issues themselves. It's not even about the truth or how things should be. It's about the fact that someone is trying to make themselves feel better by making someone else feel bad and worse, and you know, all those kind of things. So you guys, I just feel like I should cut it here because it's becoming way too long. I didn't know I could talk for this long, but I did talk for this long. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would like to hear what you have to say. I would like to hear your views and where you stand in this matter. And I'm very happy that I managed to overcome it, but I know there is someone out there who is struggling with their body, who is struggling with something that they shouldn't be struggling with because of standards that are set in this world, because of things that are being said in this world, you know. And that is why I decided to make this video, so that I can get someone to relate to me, so that I can get someone to realize that these things shouldn't matter, like these things don't matter at all. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, I enjoyed talking about this issue, and I really am happy that I actually managed to speak about it. And thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for watching until this point, and I hope you have subscribed. Please don't forget to like, share, and comment for my channel rather, to grow, and then we continue making this kind of videos, creating this kind of conversations. I appreciate you guys so much, and I hope that you are not stressing about something that you're not supposed to be. And this is it from me today, guys. Thank you so much. I love you. I love you. I love you. Keep well, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.